Hey there, hold on 1 second. Turn off, we got a little Audrey Assad, a wonderful Catholic performer. Check her out. That's her song, Known. At any rate, welcome to Michael on the Go, Catholic Family Man Edition, and I am your host, Michael Gennady. Social media and the new evangelization. Something to think about. So, you know, Pope Benedict has been out there talking a lot about the new evangelization, and that excites me because, you know, we are in a world that is rife with messages being bombarded at us through TV, movies, radio, magazines, social media, all over the web that are counter to the truth and glory of Christ. And as Christians, as Catholics, it's our responsibility to evangelize, to share the good news. You know, there's this popular conception out there that, you know, that's great that you have those things, but keep them to yourself. That's a private thing. Wrong, wrong. If you're not proclaiming the gospel, you're not believing the gospel. Christ calls us to get out there. They say, you know, you don't take a light, put it on a hill, you don't cover the lamp, you put it out there for all to see. We are to be witness to Christ's glory in all aspects of our lives, including online. So, you know, some things to think about. You know, out there we have Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and all those things. When you're standing up for the gospel, and I am not ashamed of the gospel. You should not be ashamed. You shouldn't hide it, keep it to yourself. You need to share the good news. Doesn't mean you have to beat people over the head all the time. We want to do things out of love. I love St. Francis of Assisi's quote where he talks about, you know, preaching and all, and use words when necessary. But guess what? On social media, words are necessary because that's how you communicate. Pictures, words, video. So if you're out there, you know, think about it. When and where do you have the opportunity to share the good news? Maybe you heard something at Mass in a homily that caught your attention. Maybe you saw a little meme or however you say it online that gave, you know, witness to the glory of Christ, or called attention, you know, to something pro-life or something else that we're, you know, called to stand up for the truth. Share those things. Take an opportunity. If you haven't, start doing so. Understanding you may catch some flack. Christ, in fact, pretty much promises you that, right? He said that you're going to, if you know, that you are going to suffer on account of the gospel. When you stand up for the truth, you are putting yourselves in the crosshair. But that's exactly what we're called to do. You know, today here in the United States, we have it pretty easy. As much as, you know, I complain sometimes about this being a post-Christian culture and being, you know, the last great bigotry is to be able to attack Christians and, you know, shut up with your faith, keep it to yourself, and then they use all kind of vulgar descriptions about keeping it to yourself. The point remains, none of us has a gun to our head saying you can't talk about your faith. None of us is being imprisoned for saying I'm a Christian. None of us is being put to death. But even if that were the case, we're still called to give witness. Look at the early martyrs. You know, we're not here for this life. We're here to prepare for the next. And while we're here, we need to be that light on the hill. We need to be that voice in the darkness. We need to be the one showing others the road less traveled by, so that others can find the truth that is Jesus Christ. So if you're on social media, use it as an occasion to share the truth. Remember, you know, it's always easier to share love. It's easier to share out of love, to share the positive message. You know, Christ does talk, you're going to hear it, don't judge me. And there's a whole other thing I could talk about with that. But the fact remains, if we have, you know, sins and weaknesses in our own life, then we should be attending to those. So you need to be cognizant. You put yourself out there, you need to be more cognizant about yourself and the way you comport yourself. We're not perfect, we're just forgiven, but we need to use common sense. But we can always call people to Christ's truth, to His love, to His message. We don't have to just beat people about, you're doing this and doing that. Call them to the truth that is Jesus Christ. Best thing in the world. With that, just some food for thought. Share your witness. If you're not sharing it, if you're out on Facebook, Twitter, and others, and you're not sharing the truth that is Christ, you are not following through on being holy, living whole. You're not including Christ in that part of your life. This is Michael on the Go, Catholic Family Man Edition, with some food for thought. The new evangelization and social media. Start sharing today. God bless, and as always, take care. Ciao. Peace.